Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the world of business one filing at a time. And let me tell you, this report from NextTrip Inc. is quite the boardroom musical chairs. Today we're diving into an 8K filing from NextTrip Inc., which is basically a quick report about important events happening with the company. Think of it as a company's urgent bulletin. Now, NextTrip Inc. is a company that seems to be making some pretty significant changes, mainly with its board of directors. It's like they're shuffling their leadership deck. Before we get into the juicy details, let me quickly mention that this form is used to announce major company events, and NextTrip is using it to tell us about a big shakeup in its leadership structure. This company's stock is traded on the NASDAQ under the ticker NTRP, so if you're an investor, this is the kind of stuff you need to be watching. It looks like NextTrip is not currently classifying itself as an emerging growth company. This means they're not taking advantage of certain relaxed reporting rules for newer companies. The main event here, the big news in this filing, is all about changes in the company's directors. Specifically, the board is getting bigger and new people are coming on board. So the board of directors, which is like the main decision-making team for the company, decided to add 2 more members. They're expanding the board from 5 people to 7. This might happen for various reasons, like needing more expertise or to make sure different shareholder interests are represented. And who are these new directors? Well, one of them is the current CEO of the company, William Kirby, and the other is Andy Kaplan. This is interesting because when the CEO also joins the board, it can really solidify their vision and authority. Both of them officially became directors starting July 17, 2025. Their terms are structured so that Mr. Kirby's term is up for renewal in 2026 and Mr. Kaplan's in 2027. This staggered approach is common for boards, aiming to provide continuity. It's also noted that there are no family ties between these new directors and any existing leadership at NextTrip. This generally means their appointments are based on merit and business strategy, not nepotism. Now, William Kirby as CEO is already being compensated for his work. For his director role, he won't get extra pay, which is not unusual for CEOs on their own company's board. They're already fully invested. Andy Kaplan, on the other hand, will be paid according to the company's standard program for directors who are not full-time employees. This usually involves a mix of cash and stock, intended to align their interests with shareholders. But the plot thickens here with something called the NTS Designy Board Appointments. This refers back to a deal from October 2023 when the company then called NextTrip Holdings, or NTH. William Kirby was involved in that deal as the representative for NTH. As part of that acquisition deal, Mr. Kirby, in his role as the NTS representative, had the right to appoint directors to the board as certain business goals or milestones were met. And it seems all those goals were met by May 2025. So in July, Mr. Kirby exercised these rights and nominated 4 more people to join the board. Stephen Keacher, Jimmy Bird, Carmen Dees, and David Jung. These are the NTH appointees. And the big news is that on the same day, July 14, 2025, the board approved these appointments. These new directors will officially step in on July 28, 2025. And when they come in, 4 current directors, Salvatore Battinelli, Jacob Brunsberg, Dennis DeWitch, and Kent Summers, will be stepping down. This is a pretty major board overhaul. The newly appointed NTS directors also have their terms staggered. Stephen Kircher will be on the board until 2028, Jimmy Bird until 2026, and Carmen Digis and David Jung until 27. This ensures that the legacy of the NTH acquisition continues to be represented on the board for years to come. It's not just about being on the board. These new directors are also being assigned specific roles on key committees that oversee different aspects of the company. Carmen Deeds will chair the Audit Committee, which is a really important job. This committee is responsible for overseeing the company's financial reporting and internal controls. Stephen Keacher and Jimmy Bird will also be on this committee, meaning the NTH group will have a strong presence in financial oversight. Jimmy Bird will lead the compensation committee, deciding how executives are paid. Stephen Kircher and Carmen Digis will also be part of this. This committee plays a big role in executive incentives and making sure pay is fair and competitive. David Young will head up the Nominations and Governance Committee. This committee is crucial for deciding who gets nominated for the board and ensuring good corporate governance practices. Carmen Deges is also on this committee. The filing states that none of these new appointees have any major personal business dealings that could conflict with their director roles, which is good to see. They're expected to act in the best interest of the company as a whole. Now, moving on to another section, item 701 is about Regulation FD, which is a rule to prevent companies from selectively disclosing important information. The company also put out a press release on July 15th to announce these director appointments. This report is basically incorporating that announcement. And like most corporate filings, there's a section about forward-looking statements. This is a legal disclaimer warning that statements about the future might not turn out exactly as planned because of risks and uncertainties. They're saying, hey, we're optimistic, but things could change. Finally, the last part is about exhibits filed with the report. The main exhibit here is that press release from July 15th, which contains the same information about the director appointments. And the filing is signed off by William Kirby, the CEO, confirming these actions are official timed. So what does all this mean for NextTrip Inc.? It appears they are consolidating the power and influence from the NTH acquisition directly onto the board. This is a pretty significant move, replacing a quarter of their directors all at once. It suggests a strategic shift, possibly to better align the company's direction with the goals and vision of the NTH group, especially now that William Kirby is also CEO and a director. The fact that all these NTH appointees are immediately taking on key committee roles like audit, compensation, and nominations and governance shows they aren't just warming seats, they're stepping into positions of significant influence right from day one. This gives them considerable power to shape the company's financial oversight, executive compensation, and future leadership. From a governance perspective, such a large and sudden change can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, bringing in new perspectives and expertise can be beneficial. On the other hand, rapid changes might indicate instability or a push for a very specific agenda, potentially alienating existing stakeholders or creating friction if not managed carefully. What's missing here, and what we'd need to really evaluate NextTrip's health, are the actual financial numbers. This 8K filing is about leadership changes, not a financial performance report like a 10Q or 10K, without seeing their revenue growth, profitability, debt levels, or cash flow. It's hard to say if this board reshuffle is being driven by a need for new leadership to fix problems, or just a natural evolution after a merger. However, the fact that William Kirby, who was key in the NTH acquisition, is now also CEO and a director, suggests a strong focus on executing the strategy that the acquisition was meant to achieve. The key risk here is whether this new board composition, heavily influenced by the NTH deal, will lead to sustainable concentrated power structure that might overlook broader shareholder interests. For investors, the immediate takeaway is that NextTrip is undergoing a significant leadership transition driven by its past acquisition. Keep an eye on future filings to see how these new board members influence the company's strategy and financial performance. What's your take on this board shakeup at NextTrip? Do you think it signals a positive or negative direction for the company? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, that's our decode of the NextTrip Inc. 8K filing. If you found this breakdown useful, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Corporate Decoder for more insights into the financial world, and join our Discord community in the description for more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.